Do you have a handle? You're not on any social media or anything, right?
No, I'm not on any social media.
Do you have a handle that you would like to use, or you're just comfortable with the old Neil Sumaru?
I'm comfortable with it.
Cool, man.
If anybody wants to find me.
It's not hard. Well, I mean, there's like business aspect to it too, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely, man. There's no...
Get right in there.
Yeah, from my...
Into the mic.
Okay.
Right in there.
From my perspective, yeah, there's no... like, I'm not much of a social media guy. So
Yeah, man.
Really...
Yeah, you never really have been, huh?
A handle? No, never.
This guy here's got at backside attack.
That Big Save.
There you go.
I never check my social media either.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't think I've been on Facebook in a while, and I just checked in yesterday because like one of our buddies in the group kind of mentioned something, and sure enough, I missed old Nick Perger's birthday. So happy birthday, Nick Perger.
Okay, yeah.
She's rad though. She's somebody to shoot with.
I don't think I know how to use Instagram.
Really?
I tried it.
Yeah.
Like when Roger was telling me, you gotta check out my feed or my story, but he's I don't know what he's doing in there, and he has to explain to me step by step like I'm 5.
I don't understand.
I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, how the stories work because you tap it, it just goes away, and then you try to get back to it, and you hit somebody else's story.
Yeah.
So that I don't get. I like the idea of just pushing the button in the middle and then posting the photo that I want to post.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I walk away.
Yeah. But we've talked about on the podcast that people who are addicted to Instagram and like it's a means for them to like feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
It's a sickness if you're addicted to it. So that's why I'm just cautious about even using it. So
yeah, you want constant recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much utility to it in terms of reach and
Oh yeah.
like things that you can sort of you can use it as a platform for a lot of good things.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's challenging. I mean, that's why I've stayed away from it. But I look at it in terms of from a business perspective.
Yeah.
I know we're missing the mark on a lot of that stuff, right? So it's a little bit it's going to be part of our engagement strategy next year.
Yeah.
To push a little bit more of that.
You have like studied more about how you can like widen your reach?
No, well, yeah, for sure we've done that, but I don't think that'll come from me. Like I also know that I'm not the guy to be, at least within our company, to be the person that's going to push that mandate forward, right? Like I need to delegate that to people that actually, to your point, understand how to work Instagram and do all that stuff.
Exactly.
That's not my skill set, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not where I want to be, and it's not where I want to spend my time. I don't want to learn it. I have no desire to learn
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Like there's an aspect to it that's really kind of gross, and once you realize you're like, I don't want anything to do with this, and somebody else who's willing to do it and learned and has a handle on it
Gets off on it. Yeah.
Gets off on exactly.
Go ahead. Go hard.
Because people do.
For sure, and it's a conundrum, right? Because that and I think you guys have known me for a long time, and it's like I constantly am battling kind of being that entrepreneur and embracing all these things that could help me sort of grow the business better, but at heart I'm a complete hippie that wants to live on the beach and surf, right? So it's like I'm like, well, I don't really want anybody to know where I am. I don't want them to find me because I actually want to live on a sailboat without a cell phone where you literally can't find me.
You don't want to tag your photos to find out what I'm doing right now.
But I'm trying to be prudent about it and be like, there's a lot of utility to this, right? I'm kind of missing the mark, or from a business perspective, we need to be a little more engaged on that front.
Yeah. That's just it. But your business too is like you've recently changed from what you were doing before to what you're doing now, which is like you've got a lot of pans in the fire kind of thing, right?
Yeah, we've got a lot of cool stuff going on, and I think to be honest, like a lot of that sort of thought around changing and using social media a little bit more comes from the fact that we're doing some really cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm in an entrepreneurs group called EO, which I think I've talked to you guys about, and it's a global organization, right? So we've got about 14,000 members worldwide.
Oh wow.
And I've been a member for about 8 or 9 years here in Edmonton. I sit on our board in Edmonton, and then as well as on a couple of like kind of regional committees.
Yeah.
And then kind of working on something on a little bit more of a global level. And EO as an organization has adopted has worked with the UN, and we've adopted like 4 UN Sustainable Development Goals as an organization, as a global organization.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's pretty rad, yeah.
We're trying to build out, so I'm part of a team of people that's building this out actually globally for EO. It's called our community engagement position, right? Our community engagement chair for the chapters. And so we're trying to build this out. So I'm kind of responsible for building it out in Canada right now, or helping build it out in Canada. And along with that, I mean, there's lots of cool things my business is doing in the waste industry, and other businesses that, entrepreneurs that are really good friends of mine that are doing in Montreal and Vancouver that align with these UN Sustainable
Regulations
Development Goals,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, no, it's not always about just getting business or social media just to drive business. I think it's that new mentality in business is like thinking about it in terms of a more organic, holistic model of business, right? Where you're kind of doing what's right for the planet or for people first. And by virtue of that, you're sort of, building a good, sustainable, profitable company.
Yeah.
Yeah, more of that like socially, environmentally conscious rather than just like, I mean, there's the waste we were talking about earlier as well. Or last time we talked about the what was it? Like how you're taking things from the earth that just aren't in the earth anymore, like the gold and all that. Like you were doing something with the, like, what was it? Stripping it back, like taking things back from products that are just out there, creating waste when they shouldn't be waste anymore.
Correct. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Get
so
right in there, though.
I've termed it urban mining,
Mm-hmm.
right? And really, like, we were looking at a lot of waste diversion studies in our industry, in the waste management industry, and like the number one of the biggest pieces of waste diversion is electronics, right?
And it's also and rare earth metals as well, or
Yeah.
Yeah, rare earth metals in the electronics. So they, I believe in North America, they've sort of cited, and this is loose because there's not really good numbers on this, but it's about a $50 billion industry.
Oh wow.
Untapped of precious metals that are going back into like the dump rather than being reclaimed. So we're actually working really closely with a PhD on the East Coast that's developed a chemical process, a non-active chemical agent to leach the precious metal content off of anything. It's not even a circuit board. Like it could be off of like a gold rim off a glass or something, right?
That's bananas.
Yeah, it's really cool. And he actually came from the mining space. And
that was my question. My next question was like, does he have a mining background?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Well, he has an understanding of what, like, how to strip it, right? I mean, that's a big concept. Is
Yeah, and there's always been in the mining space. There's been lots of talks about reclamation and doing things like, the tailings material that's left over.
Yeah.
I've done that work when it comes to tailings, because like mine tailings when the effluent comes out, a lot of stuff. Not to interrupt, Neil, sorry, but
go for it.
it's when the effluent comes out when they're mining.
that's the slurry, yeah.
The slurry that what comes out is that there's iron in there.
There's so much is waiting
all
in
these
there.
there's all these metals in there, and what water treatment facilities have to do is to find out make slurries on a large industrial scale. Like you do a pilot plant project in lab, and then if you can scale it up to how a mine can use it, it's like it becomes a big process, and it's so huge in the mining industry. And then that factors into what Neil was just talking about, and that's why I was going to ask that question.
Yeah,
like,
is he part of the mining
Is it part
industry?
of mining? Does it come from mining as well? So sorry to interrupt, but yeah. So it's such a huge industry.
Oh, it's bananas.
Yeah.
And like there's so much untapped. I mean, like you were saying, even just in the idea of like stripping it back from the electronics. Like, what was that thing you were telling me about gold? There's more gold
Yeah, there's more gold left in electronics than there is in the earth now.
than in the earth.
So if you look at it in terms of a precious metal and a rare commodity now, it's like we're essentially putting gold back into the earth in the form of throwing it into the dump.
Yeah.
And so like I think there's a real opportunity for things like that, right? And a more sustainable model.
That's creepy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, but there's room for definitely a more sustainable model. The idea that we're throwing it back into the earth, and it's gonna take eons before it ever becomes anything that you can mine again. I mean, that's not like you can just throw it back in the earth and hope to God that we're gonna compress that after a couple of generations and it becomes usable gold.
Yeah,
like it's just garbage.
Yeah,
it's not being looked at or touched.
Yeah, it is one facet of a throwaway society that we're right now, right? And so how Neil was talking about is that the fact that especially with electronics, a lot of people, especially in a lot of Asian markets, Neil, correct me, I could be totally wrong, but there's no eco center in those especially in China and Japan.
They don't have regulations. They just don't care.
Yeah, they'll just leave it outside, and then if someone who wants it, they can take it.
Well, the Maldives got like a garbage island that's built up of all the stuff that we just throw out, like you send back to Amazon, and they don't even open it to check if it's used. They just send it to the Maldives and they put it on an island.
Yeah.
So you have usable tons, not even kind of in colloquial terms, tons, but they have tons and tons in the thousands of just perfectly usable products just sitting on a garbage island.
Yeah.
What a huge waste, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Like how much waste really happens, right? And to your point, right? It's there's so we really think the opportunity for some of that stuff is in some of those developing countries. I mean, they're doing that now, right? There's poor kids in some of those countries, that are literally using because you can leach precious metal off of circuit boards or technology,
Easily, yeah.
but you got to use like hazardous chemicals, like, to do it. And these kids are sitting there with no gloves on, bare feet, dipping circuit boards into like very hazardous chemicals.
That's
right.
That's bananas.
And it's bad news. And we think that there's, an opportunity with that stuff. I mean, with our business, the way I look at it, so obviously my business is the Garbage Man, right? Is the brand TGM Waste. And we, we've looked at, we were looking at this industry, and I think it's, at least from a business perspective, I think it's super important that like what you do aligns with, those values, right? So going back to that earlier conversation, it's like, why do we get out of bed every day and do what we do? That I think that has to align with something that's bigger than just saying, hey, we just want to go out and be profitable, right? Like profitable is a checkbox that says we're doing things right.
Yeah.
It's not really the reason that we do it. And so with e-waste or with, urban mining off of the e-waste, I think there's a bigger play there. We're kind of looking at it and saying, okay, what recycling was in the 80s, right? Like, we don't want to go out and compete with the huge companies with huge infrastructure and budgets that, are doing the same thing. It's kind of a canned approach now. It's like, do you need this kind of a dumpster? We'll provide it. We're like, well, what is the game changer, right? Like, where are the angles in garbage, the upgrading opportunities where we're taking a component of waste, whether it's, we're looking at things like upgrading wire, upgrading certain metal content, urban mining. How do we sort of change the game to differentiate ourselves and kind of come up with a better solution, right?
Yeah. Is there anybody here in town even close to that? I mean, because our recycling facilities aren't really. I mean, there's a lot of reports now, right? We're not really doing the job that you're even telling us they're doing, as far as like Edmonton recycling goes. So, is there anybody even close to doing like real eco recycling on the same scale as what you're doing? Even say like stripping it, because like copper from wire, right? Yeah. Or getting copper from what do they call it? Not landfill. Construction projects.
Yeah.
Like, is anybody doing anything remotely close to electronic waste like you guys are doing? Who's your competition in that?
There are electronic waste recyclers, right?
Yeah.
And they break down this stuff, but then essentially what happens is they have to take the commodity in its form and send it to a downstream processor, right? So the plastic goes to somebody that processes plastics. The circuit boards go to, essentially they end up at a smelter.
Yeah.
And the smelters are all either in Europe and Japan.
Okay.
So from that perspective of like specifically circuit boards, what happens is the recyclers aren't actually doing any processing. And they're subsidized by the government to break down a lot of this product. But what happens is, from a business standpoint, they don't have the volume to deal with a smelter directly. So most of them are aggregating stock with a broker. So there's 2 or 3 smaller providers that aggregate, and then they go to a smelter when they have a volume of hundreds of tons.
Yeah.
So what we're looking to do is say, we can offer a more sustainable localized solution, so we can support, say, the West Coast, right? Processing about a ton a day of circuit boards or material through this equipment
in your own facility,
in our own facility here in town. And that would allow us to sort of kind of bypass the pathways that are kind of built right now to going to a smelter, so we could offer a local solution. But the cool part about it is, once we extract the precious metal content, we're left with matter that eventually, if you could shred it, and this is the next phase of what we're trying to look at, is could we shred it and come up with a completely closed loop solution where we're taking that leftover waste and turning it into another product, right? And when we can get there, to the conversation earlier, then we can go to some of those developing countries and say, hey, we can plunk this thing in Mexico, or
you could you could show them a pilot and just be like, what, this is on its on small scale, and then we can scale it up and then say, what, is this viable for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the McDonald's of recycling. You just show up with a solution and just drop it there, and they just use it. Essentially, right? I mean, that's the idea, that you're not gonna have like a chain they have to go through to get it done. The entire process is done in one facility that you show them how to use it or build for them.
Yeah,
that's it, huh?
Because that's what I always wondered. Because like when you for us, like who are people who like to think that they're being environmentally responsible, like especially when you're taking all of your electronics and all of your fridges, whatever it is, right? You take them to the Eco Depot, right? There's a for people who are very more interested in, like, what is the downstream process of like
well, I don't know.
I don't know it either, right?
I have no idea.
You just like, you like to think that you're I did something, I did something responsible. I sent it to the Eco Depot, and that's
what are they doing
right?
with it?
But Neil's in a good position to understand like what actually does happen to it once it's there, right? Because they don't. The way it's broken down, like like our circuit boards are ripped apart. Certain parts go here, certain parts go there to like make sure that everything is properly recycled in its entirety, right? That's probably not the case, right? So
yeah, a lot of times it's not the case, and it's not that anybody's doing anything malicious. Like, I mean, there are companies out there that are doing something, that maybe have a more, less responsible approach, and they basically just fill a sea can of this stuff and send it over to Nigeria, and it sits there, right?
Well, the Philippines
and,
right?
And then they're emailing you next week, like, because they've got all your encrypted data off your hard drive, and they're like, hey, guess what? You just won like $1 billion. $1
billion,
banker, right?
That's a good point, right? I mean, I wonder how much of that actually happens.
Well, some of that happens for sure.
Yeah.
I think the other side
is your password?
Yeah.
No, mine's 1 2 3 4.
Yeah.
Mine's my name.
Huh. No, keep on.
No. So I think there's that side of it for sure. That could happen, potentially could happen. But I think what happens is, really, if you're dealing with like an eco depot that, an eco station with the city, they usually have pretty good providers that they've partnered with to break this stuff down.
Okay, yeah.
Now, the other side of it, though, what happens after the fact, and this is kind of what happened with recycling, and we're seeing all the blowback right now with recycling, right? Because we do residential waste collection as well.
Yeah.
So we do kind of, I guess, just to preface all
your
of this.
company does.
Yeah, my company does residential garbage collection in Strathcona County. So we do curbside garbage and recycling collection from homes. Then we do junk removal services primarily for property management clients. So we work with a lot of property management clients. When there's turnover, we go in and clean out suites or pick up waste that's left out by their dumpsters. And then we do some commercial garbage as well, mostly like C&D, construction and demolition debris, like roll-off bins. So renovation companies, construction companies, private residents that just wants to clean up their house, whatever, we rent them a bin for those types of services. So in the residential recycling, now we're seeing this blowback because what was happening is, I grew up and I remember, like we remember because we all grew up together, like when these people used to come to your school and recycling was just starting and they were like, oh, it's great. Like you put this plastic in this jar, in this container and it turns into new glass, right? Or whatever, new plastic. And you're like, okay, this is magic. This is feel good, right? Like I feel good about it.
Well, it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
They were hitting you in your moral nerves.
Yeah, and those new blue bins that we've never seen before.
Oh, yeah.
It was like magic.
Yeah, it was like magic, right?
Oh, yeah,
and
for
then,
sure.
So we buy into this whole program, which philosophically has really good merit.
Oh, yeah.
But in practical terms, what was happening is there, half the time, it's, we don't have the infrastructure to recycle it here. So then it's getting brokered to another municipality. That municipality might not be as prudent. So they're filling a sea can and sending it to the Philippines and dumping it on a beach, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And, yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, with me, I would fill, I fill everything. My recycle bag is my bathroom, my bedroom, from the kitchen, everything. Then I see that whole idea that, was it Japan and China? They won't take it if it's got a certain amount of waste content that is they'll test it. It's got a certain amount of organic waste within the recycle that's been recycled. The recycle has been recycled. They just say no.
Yeah,
then what happens to all that? All that just goes into the waste after that, right?
Yeah.
So we think we're doing all this great stuff, but if you don't get every last bit of peanut butter out of that jar, it's going to the garbage.
Yeah.
If there's any mayo left in the lid or a piece of cheese in that bag, it's going to the garbage.
Yeah.
So it's there's so many regulations we don't know about, but we just think we're doing the right thing by stuffing that recycle bag.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, it's a thing too. Is everyone wants to feel good about what they're doing for the environment. Everyone's heart's in the right place. It's very rare that you see someone throw something out of their window.
Yeah.
If they're just drinking
in
something.
Canada.
Yeah, in Canada. They just chuck it out the window, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I love watching stories on waste removal. Actually, I would like to hear Neil's opinion on this. Is that the big in the Pacific that large garbage buildup and all those plastic.
Island?
Yeah, the island. Because I know there's a lot of startup companies that have started
well, there's that 15-year-old, right? That kid who built the scooper, whatever it is.
Yeah, and there's two other guys who have actually I think it's called Pacific Blue. I could be totally wrong, but their mission is to and they have some sort of technology in place to gather all that because all that plastic accumulation of it's just a big. I think
it's just waste.
It's waste. You can see it from space.
Yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah. I don't know if you can walk on it technically, but I mean, it's a pretty solid mass of because the ocean has currents.
Yeah.
That shoves things together, and anything you throw in the ocean is going to eventually find its way somewhere using that current
Yeah.
drift, right?
That's
And the garbage is loose enough to all kind of go together, and now you've got this garbage island out there.
Yeah, Neil, what's your take on technologies being implemented now that are helping to kind of alleviate that problem on instances such as that? Like, what's your
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because I think the technology can help if people adopt the process, and the hardest thing to do is to change the way people do it. Like,
Yeah.
I think you're right. To a point. Like, I think that people don't have malicious intent when it comes to being irresponsible with the environment.
Yeah.
But I also think that people will usually do what's easiest.
Yeah,
And
I
not
agree with
what's
that, yeah.
best, right?
Yeah.
100%,
absolutely.
Everybody wants to be environmental as long as it doesn't cost them more, as long as it's not harder to get to,
Oh, yeah.
as
Yeah.
long as it's not, So that's the challenge, like I think in anything, right? Anytime you're doing, for lack of a better term, missionary work,
Yeah.
it's changing user behavior.
Oh, yeah.
And that's to me, that's the hardest part of adoption, right? Is like, if you can get the user to change their behavior.
Yeah.
So technology, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things, right? Like, with the whole idea of like the IoT, or the Internet of Things, and the way devices are going to be more connected in our homes and our businesses, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about things like, there's devices out there now, we're looking and thinking about this, and this is all like, this isn't the core of my business by any stretch, but I think, what's prudent is we have to be looking at what is forward thinking. How do we make things better? And there's actually an IoT based recycling stations where you can essentially put all your recycling into it, and it'll or I guess one object at a time, I believe, and it uses AI to tell you what that object is, and then moves it into the right bin. So it'll say, oh,
insane.
plastic goes here, and there's ones, actually, I think there's an airport, and I can't remember if it could even be the Vancouver airport. I can't remember. It might have been the States. And they actually have garbage bins with optical cameras and AI. They've got only a few that'll test up, and you walk up and you kind of like hold out what you have, and it's like, that is like
Bing what it is.
organic matter, and
Yeah.
you need to throw it into the green bin or
bin,
whatever,
yeah.
right?
That's
And, like,
crazy.
So that, to your point, like, I think technology is going to be influential in kind of changing the user behavior.
Yeah.
For sure. I think I could help with those things. I think the real problems are in some of those developing countries where there's less, like North America is part of the problem. And I think we'll see technology in our countries, like in the US and Canada, have a better adoption rate.
Yeah.
But the challenge is like, how are you going to be pervasive with that in Mexico City or in Rio de Janeiro
Yeah.
India.
or in India?
India, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Like
Man, it's
China,
nuts.
like there's a lot of issues, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as a guy who's been around like all of Southeast Asia, there are countries that are really trying hard. Like if you go to Thailand, they're trying their best. They have laws about how they're gonna do the garbage in the street, and they're picking up a lot of garbage and they're recycling. But then you go to India, and it's like you're just driving along, you'll be in a bus, and a guy will ask you, "Is this your bottle?" Like, nope, and it's out the window.
Out the window.
And then you look out the window, and it's just miles. I mean, miles. No matter where you go, every highway has got plastic littered in the sides. So there's a lot of recycling. Just it's not even a concept they understand. It feels like, right?
Yeah. Actually,
So how much impact do we have?
yeah. I saw this one on the internet. There's on YouTube actually. There's this one Indian. I think this one Indian guy. This is in India. He's a lawyer, and what he did is actually he gave up his practice for a year, and he started just cleaning up the beaches, and he got like
Oh, you're telling me about this.
he got hundreds of like volunteers just to come by,
Just show up and we'll help.
just
Yeah.
show up and help, right? Because that's how bad the when he showed it the before and after. Yeah, it was fucking disgusting.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially like the second you go rural, it seems like you're better off in the rural areas. Go to the desert or some tiny village with 20 people in it. It's like they're way more conscious about how they deal with their garbage. And the second you go anywhere into a city, I mean, you can see it as you get closer to the city. The garbage gets bigger and bigger and worse, right?
Yeah.
That's not to say that like every country doesn't have that problem. Like they all do. Everybody's got some kind of problem like that, especially on the rails. If you run a train system anywhere, you just see it. The second you get closer to the city, it gets worse and worse. Every place out there like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it just feels like, I don't know, maybe because you feel a little more connected to India. Like it feels like that's part of those are your people, right? You show up and you just see them throwing a Coke bottle out the window. And then there's like the carryover. Like you'll have the Coke bottle tossed out the window. Then you'll be at a train station waiting, and some kid will come up and offer you cold water. And then you're just, all right, whatever. And they'll open the bottle for you. That's just the bottle they found 2 minutes ago on the train track. So at least they're recycling one way, right? They're trying.
I'm like, they're not my people. I'm a proud Pacific Islander, so
Well, I know. I mean, but like we all,
I'm just joking.
we all scream
Trust
out.
me, Fiji is no better, man.
Oh,
It is
Fiji
no
is-
better.
Fiji, man, like let's remove that by one generation, right? Let's go back to our Pacific roots
Okay.
and go to Fiji. Like there's exactly, it's no better out there. Like you drive around to the rural areas, the more rural you get, it seems like the better they are because they don't want that mess around them. But the second you go into the city and you look at the side of the road, there's like so much garbage out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, it's brutal.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting, right? Because on on that topic, there's like there's a guy I've been meaning to reach out to that's actually part of this entrepreneurs organization that I'm part of EO, and they've got a I haven't connected with him personally, but I was looking at what they're doing, and it seems like it's maybe a new business that he's formed, and it's called
Here in town?
No, they're in the I believe they're in the States, but I believe they've started this in Haiti right now, and the business is called Plastic Bank, and they've got some really amazing adoption. So what they've done is they've gone out to people like like on these poor communities, there's a lot of people that go through the garbage and the recycling and they try to reclaim stuff, right? So what they're saying is if you find plastic, like probably certain kinds of plastic, you can bring it to a location that they've dubbed a plastic bank, and they will process it into pellets, like plastic pellets, and then they will sell that plastic commodity at a premium to like premium vendors, right? And saying like, look, this is keeping these plastics out of the ocean, and then the person, the person that the marginalized person that picked this stuff, they receive sort of a credit through an encrypted currency, and then they can use that to buy food or water or supplies in these regions. These guys have got crazy adoption. So
That's crazy.
IBM has started to use them for plastic on their some of their hardware.
Yep.
And they actually were the ones. So IBM partnered with them and developed this cryptocurrency so that they could.
I was just gonna, was it a cryptocurrency?
Yeah, it's a cryptocurrency. Yeah, and then they've also I think partnered with some like real high end fashion companies that are willing to pay more to keep this stuff out of the ocean, right? So like it's that kind of stuff gets really interesting to me. I've been spending a lot of time in the Baja in Mexico, and we're in the middle of buying some land there and hopefully building out there, and I love to surf there, and it's a true sort of developing area, right? It's like dirt roads and stuff, and I see the garbage infrastructure. Like I'm walking around, like Lisa and I are walking around. There's like this guy, and he's going door to door, and he's got like a Dodge Ram half ton, and it's like heaping with garbage, right?
And he's the garbage collection.
Yeah, and so like I, in my broken Spanish, start like talking to him. His name's Kiko, and I'm like, well, you're the garbage collector, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, how much do you charge? And he's telling me, and I'm like, oh, that's the business I'm in. That's actually, I'm like, that's about how much we charge back home. And then I'm just, like, the entrepreneur in me is doing the math, right? I'm like,
man.
Geez, labor's a lot cheaper here, right? And I'm like, so I'm thinking
Mexico.
about it opportunistically,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm like, I think there's this mentality here, right? So I look at my assets, and I'm like, a 2008 truck in my fleet is getting old, right? And by North American standards, what do? You go, okay, we're going to upgrade. We're going to send it to the auction, right? And I'm like, maybe I need to revisit our strategy, because could we take our assets and could we work in these developing areas, right? And support them, whether it's with these organizations like Plastic Bank that exist to help those sort of people create a better recycling infrastructure, or is it in a new market where we could do something for them, right? That's closer to my heart, where I want to plant roots, right? Because so I think about it all the time. It's crazy. I could go on forever about it.
No, definitely do. I mean, how would that work out though? Because I mean, right now you're seeing people who try to like give trucks, like the fire truck, right? They had all those issues getting the truck into Mexico. So is it easy to just walk up and try to are you talking about donating your vehicle to these people, or you want to build a small business out there?
Honestly, I don't even know at this point. I just all I think is like, and to your point, I don't think it's easy in places like Mexico.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a lot of challenges with business down there, at least for somebody that's not a local, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's all pie in the sky right now. But it's opportunity, right? And like there is no deposit or exchange on things like recyclables, like cans and bottles, right?
Yeah.
So when you're in the beach, like we're so used to being like, oh, keep your bottles or put them in a recycling thing, right? Well, there's a 40-gallon drum by the beach I like to surf, and by the end of the day, it's heaping with like pop cans
it's falling
and
over,
bottles,
yeah.
and it's just like and nobody cares, because there's no deposit on that,
Yeah.
right? So you've got these poor people you drive by on the side of the highway near the dump, and you can see them scrounging for stuff. And meanwhile, there's all this in North America. That's like what most people
That's
that
a cash
we
cow
see,
for them. Yeah,
that's like
that they can't take advantage of.
yeah. That's like I'm like, are you kidding? This is like $400 worth of bottles.
It's
on
so
it.
much, yeah, and they have got no deposit on it.
And meanwhile, and so Costa Rica was really cool because they were talking. I don't know where this went, but this was a few years ago. But they were talking about establishing a like a recyclable exchange, almost like a stock exchange, but for recyclable commodities, so that people could sort of trade commodities across certain regions. And I don't know whatever happened to it, but there was talk about that in some of those Latin American countries.
That's actually a good
Well,
idea.
you got family out there, right? Any buzz? Like, how do they deal with? Because he's got is it in Costa Rica or he's got the coffee farm?
In Nicaragua.
In Nicaragua, right?
Yeah.
What's it like for him doing? Okay, because he's based in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And he's got the farm in Nicaragua, and he's got local workers doing all the work for him and all that kind of stuff.
That is correct.
Have you ever talked to him at all about how he like the business management side is like waste or all that kind of stuff, or does the farm just deal with itself? He kind of like subcontracts the coffee from these guys in a way, like the vineyards here, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's true. To be honest with you, I haven't really gone to the specifics of that, but
That'd be cool to talk about.
But he'll be here next week, so
Maybe we'll bring him in and see how that works for him. I'm really interested about that kind of stuff, especially like when you talk about locally, how in a way we kind of they haven't failed us, but you'll learn now about how the recycling isn't the way we thought it was. And talking to you about how your company is stripping it, like actually just shredding it, stripping it. Was it magnetically or like ionically pulling the stuff out?
With the like e-waste stuff.
The e-waste stuff.
Yeah, it uses a non-active chemical to
That's right.
put it into a water
Yep.
form, a bath. And then it uses actually like cathodes, charged cathodes.
That's what it was, yeah.
That will attract that metal, right? And then you scrape it off, and then you've got to settle it and do some stuff to it after.
Eventually, you get down to the
you get
actual
down to
raw
pure.
material.
It's 99 point, like with gold, you can get it to 99.9% pure gold.
Which is fascinating. So in my mind, I think about like the stuff we have been throwing out and the things that we do have like in the drawer, like the cell phones in your drawer. Everybody's got like that one drawer you open up. It's got cables and like 4 or 5 old phones.
Yeah.
Like all that going to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing with it. When it just kind of gets broken down, they maybe pull the battery out so it doesn't explode. If they can't crush it and get all the plastic out, it just goes into a landfill. So like the education is changing so much more now, right? It's like almost like you're sitting on the cutting edge of the education changing rather than just the technology of taking the precious metals out. It's actually a full page turn right now for like the education of how we're going to get it out of there, right?
yeah, like a lot of people will. Sorry, interrupt Neil. Because a lot of people will buy your old phones.
Your old phones.
And like you obviously know they're not going to use them for like as a phone, but they will extract every single piece.
There's got to be something in there, right?
There's obviously like Neil, you probably know this more than we do, that like a cell phone will contain probably more metals than it's completely than probably what the phone is worth even almost.
Well, can they reclaim silicone? Like, is that the kind of thing you can?
Yeah, so silicone, I'm not through our process. I'm not sure what the reclamation process on silicone is, to be honest. Like I know through this process that we have access to gold, silver, platinum, palladium are the components.
Those are the big ones, right?
The big ones.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about it is like with phones and old technology, sometimes, we have a disposable culture in this part of the world, right? But a lot of that stuff, it sometimes it's not even the reclamation of the precious metal. It's actually parts harvesting. So what happens is like, we have the old iPhone 4 or 5 sitting in the drawer because everybody's on to an 11 Pro now, right? But somebody somewhere is willing to pay like $50 for a screen from a 5. You know what I mean? Because in your travel experiences, right? In all of ours, like you've 100%. Seen it, like places like India, it's not a disposable culture. Like your toaster breaks, they fix it, and they fix it again, they fix it again, they fix it again.
They still have shoe cobblers. I mean, you go to every street in India has got somebody who's fixing your shoes because your shoe will have a hole in it. And there's a guy out there who's got cardboard and leather. He'll fix your shoe.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, if you look at the baseline argument, I guess that's why Apple is not needed in India, and that's why it's struggling there. AK not needed, because people will, just like how Neil said, is that why would I, if I was in India, why would I pay like?
There's a guy using a Galaxy S4 with a brand new screen that comes from wherever, right?
So
who gives it? He doesn't care. He's just communicating.
So I totally agree with Neil. It's like,
but it's funny though, because like of Nintendo, the Game Boy. the Game Boy comes out, and it's a great little unit. The Advance comes out, everybody went nuts for it. I think it's one of the highest selling video gaming units of all time, or game consoles of all time. But it's got no screen that lights up. So you got to play this thing in the sun or next to a light so you can actually see what's happening in it. Guys who are taking the Game Boy Advance, I think the second was the SP, was it with the flip? Mm-hmm. They're taking that thing, stripping it down because it doesn't work or feel as good as the original Advance does, getting all the light materials out of it, the front light screen, the actual screen itself, and building their own front lit Game Boy Advances to the point where they were just harvesting that Game Boy Advance SP just for the screen. And now you got this piece that does nothing.
Yeah.
Like you got this little unit that's perfectly fine on its own, but you can't do shit with it because like it's just for harvesting, right? Mm-hmm. Like a weird kind of recycling going on there where you're recycling to make one thing better, but then you've got all these parts just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So like, what do you do with that now?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting, right? Because the comment you'd made about batteries, right? So they don't blow anything up. So I was just at a conference in Orlando a few months back, and it was in the electronics waste space. But there's a huge awareness right now, and especially in the U.S. about lithium-ion batteries and the impact they have in the waste stream, like not from fires and all that. But the interesting part about it, kind of what I thought would be interesting to hear from you guys too, is like, with all like the prevalence of electronic cars, and you see like Tesla launches like their Cybertruck and all this like cool vehicles coming out, right? And they all run on lithium ion. Well, lithium ion right now is considered to be one of the hardest things to reprocess. So when you take lithium off of, like, if you can take lithium out of a existing lithium ion battery, you can only and don't. This is not something to be quoted because I'm just shooting from.
It's just a loose idea,
but it's like they said something to the effect of like that lithium can only go back to like a 30%. Like of its like potential usability. So like it's a very degraded sort of reprocessing of that lithium. So they're saying like that's going to be the next shortfall in a precious commodity is going to be lithium.
Oh, for sure.
There's just not enough to support the need.
Well, that goes back to that cobalt mining you were talking about, right? In the bottom of the ocean floor.
Yeah.
Because I mean, cobalt is big in. I think if I'm not wrong, it's got like a nuclear component to it and lithium batteries.
Yeah.
So they're just like what you're saying. The amount of cobalt on the ocean floor.
Yeah, they're talking about harvesting. There's like a bit of a race between different regions, and the UN has allocated in the Pacific. Certain sectors of the ocean, and they're harvesting nodules off the bottom of the ocean floor that take like years and years to like develop, but they're very, very mineral rich in things like it was cobalt and magnesium and a few other precious metals. I mean, it's just interesting, right? Because you don't know what the impact is on the ecosystem by taking those things away.
The water might need that stuff, right? Like, I mean, because the minerals in the water and minerals that we replenish ourselves with all come from somewhere. So what's gonna happen when you strip all that out of the water?
Well, when you strip that out of the water, right? The water is has to be a very balanced ecosystem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it all has to do with the pH of the ocean water, right?
It's a petri dish, man.
Yeah, so like on a large scale, I can see that like corrupting.
There's going to be problems.
Yeah, water pH, and then that affects ocean life. So, back to Neil's point about lithium ion. Like I know that because I've watched documentaries on battery technology, like especially when they're used in like cars, with Tesla, and all the other big name brands. But like the thing about battery technology is that it never stays in the same place. It is always
it's always moving.
So I guess they want to extrapolate as much as they can per kilowatt hour, for example, right? So the technology is going up and up and up. So it's getting more. So that's why they want to make sure that Teslas become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, right? So
I think like we were just, was it you and me, or I think you and me were talking about that earlier. That's where you got the idea of you coming on, was the batteries from electric cars and Teslas and whatnot that are degraded. Because I mean, lithium just degrades over time. It just eventually the 100% isn't there anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
And guys have been taking batteries from like Toyotas and Teslas and whatnot and using them to build their own power walls.
Yeah.
So like they'll build a power wall in their garage to power the solar panels they've got in the rooftops now. So instead of relying on Tesla to build that bank for you and spending, whatever, 80,000 or 50,000, whatever it is, you're just getting these batteries that nobody wants anymore and building your own power wall. If you have the know-how, right? Like if you kind of have an understanding, or there could be companies out there doing it for you as well. But what I was reading was The Globe or something, but it was a guy who did it himself, where he's just putting it out there. Like, I want batteries. If you've got a battery that you're not using anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Because actually, I'm not sure if you guys heard the news at around 6:00 or something
Today?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but there's like a major rise in like alternator thefts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard. Like, Ford's got 2, and they're like pulling both.
There's like
Really?
there's theft in Edmonton. Like, people are just stealing alternators from like dealerships. People just and just cars on the street.
That's crazy.
They're just ripping them out of everywhere.
Why alternators?
Now,
it could be like what you were just talking about.
I wouldn't be surprised because it has something to do with the aftermarket use, right? There's got to be something in those alternators,
exactly,
or it's probably a specific type in reliance.
There's copper and a lot of copper and aluminum in alternators. But
Oh, really?
There's no really high end componentry.
Yeah. Or it could be like to power something to keep them warm in the winter.
Well, I mean, you would
But
know.
who
I mean,
knows?
is there a difference in the alternator for an electric vehicle compared to a standard gasoline vehicle?
Well, I don't have I haven't looked at a lot of the electrical vehicles intimately because I've been kind of distant from that world.
Yeah, it's been a while.
From the automotive space, but my understanding is that they regenerate their charge using like the motion, right? So they're using
to a small to a small degree they do.
Yeah. I mean, that's the idea behind them.
I'm not exactly sure what their alternator technology is like, though, right?
Yeah.
Like if they're using that to charge the battery, I'm not sure if they're
because the only way electric car can charge its battery while you're driving it is through regenerative braking.
Braking, right?
Yeah. So it will even if you can drive a Tesla. Like I'm not sure, Neil, I'm not sure if you've driven one before, but like because when you can drive without using the brake, because it'll like as soon as you lift off the accelerator, the car will just slow down by itself, and you can adjust it as well, right? But the lithium ion batteries are being built now not only to make the engine, not only to make the car cheaper because the battery technology is expensive, obviously, right? But we want to make sure that the battery can last longer. So now that because when Teslas first came out, the battery was good for X number of miles. Like it was under maybe 300,000.
I think it was under 300.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So but now Tesla is making batteries that can go for 1 million miles.
That's insane.
So the battery technology is getting better and better, but
graphene's going to come into play too, right?
Exactly. So is lithium ion the long-term solution for traveling for the masses? Who knows, right? Like that's not because it is a finite resource.
Yeah, I mean, there's what's in the earth, and that's it.
Yeah, so like
getting it back from the battery is not easy.
Exactly. So I'm not sure if they're gonna do like there's because when your battery reaches the end of its life, are they gonna be able to recycle the batteries, or I'm not sure what they do with the lithium. I'm not too sure, but whether they do battery swaps once your car is like once you drive your car 1 million miles. Then what? But if the car is still rigid and just structurally sound.
Well, I think Tesla does do a battery swap.
So you probably have to do a battery swap.
So I know, I actually know somebody who had their battery changed in their Lexus. And that's like, I mean, that's not the same technology, but it is also an electric battery.
It's a battery
on a hybrid, right? And they can pull it and put it back in. So I'm pretty sure you can probably do a battery swap, but still, like, how cost effective is that? And then what happens to the old components? Like, what's going to go on that old battery? I mean, I'm sure like the casing and all that's going to be fine, but still, there's a big chunk of metal in there. There's a big piece of lithium.
Well, if you
think
about this, let's see if you buy a Tesla right now that let's say it has the battery can go 800,000 miles, right? How many years would it take you to drive 800,000 miles?
That's a lot.
That's a lot, right?
That's a lot of miles.
By the time you reach the end of the battery's life, the battery technology hopefully will have caught up to where it's more efficient, it's cost effective to have to not replace your car.
Well, if your car goes to shit, can you grab your battery and put it in a new car?
Yeah, because Elon Musk,
the car is disposable.
The battery is where the money's at.
Like how much is a shell of a car? Like how much like metal? What's the cost of metal in a car?
That was the joke, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
was it Al Bundy? There was like $25 worth of metal in this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't think it's that much, but it's definitely less than the actual, like the manufacturing is where the money's at. Like all the people you're paying to put that thing together.
Yeah.
Like all that, the metal itself is probably not as much as what the car is worth, but I mean, you're not building it yourself.
Yeah, that's why BMWs, like Mercedes-Benz, Audis, that's why they don't last forever. They make their money on servicing. So,
yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah, so like that's the thing. Like I would never, like me personally, I would never buy those cars. I would definitely lease them because after the end of your lease, there's a new model out that's probably way better.
If it flies, drives, or floats, you lease.
Yeah, so
I mean, that's
there's another one in there, too, right?
Yeah.
There is one more, but it's sexist.
I don't know. It can work both ways. I mean, I don't think paying for male sex is any different than paying for female
It's not,
sex.
man. It's absolutely
I'd be
not.
willing to bet that, you know,
It's the same. It has to be the same thing.
somebody's probably done a study on that shit, right?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think we just had a conversation about that, like about the idea of male versus female, like paying for male versus paying for female.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
women are just as rabid as men. They're just not outwardly rabid. Like you're not hearing it as much in your face. But I mean, like,
they don't wear it on their sleeve.
I've worked lots of bars where we had like ladies' nights and strippers come in, and those guys are terrified. Like some guys just knew there were regulars in the crowd that were not going to be kind to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think it's as outwardly
those
visible,
are
right?
That's marriage material right there.
Yeah, right there, exactly. That's marriage material. Now that's fascinating though. I like the idea of technology changing and like where it's going to go from here, because there is more education just readily available. I mean, you can Google search anything and you can find pros and cons to everything, but if you actually look for the information you're looking for properly, you can find like what's happening to your goods after it leaves your house, right?
Yeah, like I kind of like the idea of like what Neil is doing and what like how he's approaching it is because like what you want is that like if you look at it from like from a higher perspective, right? You see like okay, what logically should be happening, right? You have a society that likes to like that has a lot of things that are like that are well manufactured, have all these things that are valuable in them, but once they're done with them, they just toss them away. So what's the next logical step?
Yeah.
Strip them down, reclaim what you can from it, and then recycle what you can't, right? Like just like but anything that's valuable in there, extract it and then use it again, right? That is the logical step. What you think would happen, right?
Yeah.
So.
What you'd hope would happen.
You would hope so, right? And then I'm glad that there's people like Neil, people like people that he's talking to, and the people who he's associated with are taking that initiative and not only like doing something that they love, but are good at it and are successful at it.
Well,
So,
like genuinely care about it.
yeah,
care about the space, right?
Yeah, so I think what Neil's doing that's what I admire is like if you love what you do, and it's admirable work. And he's good at it. That's
stick to it.
That's a win-win all around.
That's a win.
Right?
It's super interesting, right?
Yeah.
To, like kind of to close the loop on, and I appreciate you saying all that, but I think to close the loop on sort of the earlier conversation, right? That's the trouble. That's the double-edged sword with the whole social media piece and all that, right? Because why I've stayed away from it, like honestly, like this conversation, I think it's an interesting conversation. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if other people do, but I feel it's an interesting conversation because it's a part of my life, like holistically part of my life, right? Like all these things that we've
it's part of
about.
your personal philosophy too, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I mean, like look at the conversation. It's like batteries, cars, technology, cell phones. Like how many things have we talked about that impact that we need on a daily basis?
Oh
right?
yeah.
But the hard part about it is like, I don't really talk about this to too many people, right? And because and the challenge with the social media piece is like there's lots of like bullshit on there. Right, there's a lot of people that like kind of
90%.
Yeah, and so
It's
like
90%
how do you
horseshit,
filter
yeah.
through that, right? Because you could put, I've never been the kind of person that wants to put up a bunch of BS. Like we're trying to do the right things. When we go to market with something, we hope we have a very well vetted, well functioning solution so that we can actually offer it to our client base, right, and do a really good job of it. But I don't think like, I feel like all too often you see people like, that are making claims, right, or pretending to be a certain way or live a certain life, right? And like it's like the CEOs I admire are like, I just happened to be wearing a Patagonia shirt. It wasn't by like choice, but I just happened to throw it on. But it made me think about it. Like guys like Yvon Chouinard from Patagonia, right? And he talks about sustainability. So like when organic cotton was like the thing, right? He was like, no, it's not about organic cotton. He's like, it's about like, was your organic cotton farm getting water from an aquifer under the earth that took like 3 million years to fill? Or was your organic cotton farm in a sustainable rain region where like you weren't like drilling into an aquifer to produce organic cotton, right? And it's like there's a difference between those things, right? Because the consumer thinks like, oh, I'm going to support this brand. It's really cool. It's organic cotton. I'm totally an environmentalist. And he's like, no, there's layers to this.
There's
game.
layers.
Oh, there's so much bullshit out there.
Dig a little bit further.
We had a guy probably about like more than 10 years ago now at the old Reds there, and we got this bus, not a bus, it was like a stretch Humvee, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of 12-year-old girls come out. There's a bunch of 12-year-old girls there for like a birthday party, and they're just having a good time. And this dude, he looks like Freddy Krueger on crack. So he's just standing out there and he starts yelling at these kids like, "You're destroying the environment. You're garbage and your parents are garbage. You're killing the earth." I'm looking at him like, the hell's wrong with this guy? Hey, buddy, what's going on? He's just yelling at these kids about the environment. So I'm like, dude, your fucking shoes, man. Like, you're wearing Nikes and all your clothes probably made in a sweatshop. destroying the planet, the carbon footprint that you put out just by buying what you bought, because it all looks like it's half new. It's not garbage stuff. You're just dressed cheap because you want to look cheap, but you're paying money for it. But the education that he's got in his head is such bullshit, because he's just looking at the car and thinking about the output the car's making, not thinking about what he's actually wearing. And that's everybody. Like you said, I mean, everybody's just like, I'm wearing organic, I'm a good person. A carpool, I'm a good person. I'm a hippie, I'm a good person. But the stuff they're buying is just such poorly built for the environment. You know, they're supporting industries that are bad to the world.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is because it becomes image oriented.
Absolutely.
It's not oriented towards a value that you have or a way that you want to live, right?
You got a 10 tree shirt.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's like, frankly, like, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks, right? Like, I'm not doing this because I want a bunch of likes on social media. I'm not doing this because I want a bunch of people to like think it's awesome. I'm doing it because I actually think it's the right way to live.
Yeah, or you'd be on social media.
Yeah,
trying to be an influencer.
But it's tough, right? Because I think what happens is like I think sometimes should we be doing that? Because I feel like we're actually one of the people trying to do it right.
Yeah. There's definitely a happy medium to be had. Like, I mean, if you get the right guy pushing with you, instead of just like, trying to pay off an influencer to show your brand on their page or whatever it is, there's definitely a right way to do it.
Yeah.
But it is cutting through the bullshit, because there's so much bullshit out there, right? There's just, social media is a double-edged sword. It's really hard to find who's going to help you out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Social media is like it's all it is. It's just like it's space where people either can take advantage of it in the sense of like self gratification and just need it to like.
Oh, it's noise.
Like, I can't get through a day without looking at Facebook, whatever. But it also gives you an audience. So what you use that for is like use it in like.
Are you a sandwich board guy, or are you Neil trying to make a difference?
Yeah,
because like the sandwich board guy has got the like repent written across the board, and he's ringing the bell. The end is nigh. Like that crazy person on the side of the street.
Like Bruce Willis in Die Hard 3.
Yeah, but he's got a phone now, right? That's exactly right. That guy has a phone.
Yeah.
And he can tweet his madness out into the world, and everybody's just going to either get drowned out by the noise of that person and you get sick of social media and you walk away, or you need to be on there to make a difference, but you're kind of dejected by all that bullshit that you're getting from that guy, right?
That's true. Yeah.
It's social media is so gross.
I think when I went on Instagram the last time, it was like maybe a month ago or something. I just saw like people I used to respect. Yeah. And and I saw their pictures on there, and they're just selfies of them in like weird positions and whatever.
It's rough, man.
I'm sitting there. I just looked at them. I'm like, you know what? I know that wasn't the only picture they took of that.
Oh no,
that was one of 20. And they probably they picked the best one, and then they edited it to make sure that they look as
filter the shit out of it.
As happy as good looking as possible, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's just sad living. That's just
100%.
I took a photo of a friend of ours like a while ago, like a really nice photo of a friend of ours, and
that was basically my ex-wife's entire existence.
Social media.
Well, and just like it's ironic, and this isn't about ragging on her, but it's about like just as an example, because that's obviously a close example to me.
No, but
it's just funny because you're around a person and you're like, okay, the way you're projecting and like what reality is are two very different things, right? And I've never been the kind of person to be like, oh, I need to combat that with like more social media. I'm like, you know what, man, like me or hate me, like I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm doing what I do the way I do it, and I'm super good to the people around me, and like and that's what I care about, right? Like
exactly.
I would say
that's what you care about more than the.
You need 6 friends in life, man. You need 6 pallbearers to carry your casket.
Oh,
so,
fuck yeah!
Like, that's the way I look at it.
Good way to put it, man.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah. I wanna go missing. I don't know about you guys, but I want to go missing in like a weird accident, or just like I literally have always thought about, not to like veer off topic, but the idea of the pallbearers, I've always just wanted to like fall off the face of the earth and people wonder what happened to me. I think
it's a DB Cooper.
Yeah, like a mystery. Absolutely. I'm not gonna parachute out of a plane or anything, but I definitely want to go missing and people wonder what happened. They become a story that lasts.
Yeah,
one of those crazy shit.
Actually, that was I think I told you about this. Like, that's a great feeling. Like, not to that extent, but when I was living in Vancouver and I left, and I just left without.
You didn't tell anybody.
I had tons of family there. They all knew I was there. But then after I finished my work contract, I was like, I'm gone. I'm leaving.
Howdy, pal.
And I didn't, because I know like Indian people, like all your family would want to like, hey, you know what? I'll have one last night out to Vancouver. We'll go for dinner.
Come on, or eat some khana. It'll be great.
And the weird thing was, I'm not sure if you remember this, but like I drove the next morning. I just said, I told my uncle like I'm leaving, and then I went. And then I was driving, and then I called Sandy, and I said, yeah, I'm on my way back to Edmonton. Then he said, we're actually going to Neil's place for for a party, and I said,
there
okay,
you go.
fine. So as soon as my road trip was done, I got home, took a shower, went straight to this guy's place.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I believe we had a keg and
Yeah.
a few beer bongs.
Oh
going,
yeah, that was
There's nothing wrong with that.
that was nuts. Yeah, that was. I was so tired, but I'm like, somebody just, and then then we just got wasted.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Those are, but
Standard issue.
Yeah,
for-
exactly.
Yeah,
That-
That's pretty normal.
That's when you were in the West End, I think, right?
yeah that's right. Yeah.
it's a little while ago.
This is a
Yeah,
while
it's a
ago.
while
Yeah,
back,
this is like
yeah.
in 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Around there.
Oh yeah, that was some time ago.
Yeah.
Man, it is kind of nice to like get away and do that whole thing where you're not cutting ties with people. You're not trying to piss anybody off. But at the same time, you do just want to maybe just escape without letting anybody have that whole.
I think it's cathartic. I believe so.
yeah, it's great.
Well, I think you never know, who's really in your corner until
Mm-hmm.
push comes to shove, right? And that's the hard part. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like there's a whole bunch of like, like I don't know, like until life gets hard, you really don't know who's there. And
Oh,
who's
for
not,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And,
Definitely.
and you're right, it is cathartic. It's a cleanse, right?
Oh, yeah.
and it's okay.
Cutting
Yeah.
loose is totally fine. It's absolutely. I've always said I've been pretty lucky. Like the guys who we started this with, you guys. I mean, I know who like my group. I've got my group and I'm good with it and I'm happy there. I'm happy with those people. And then you meet certain other friends after a while. And like I said, you lose that respect after seeing them on social media. You realize at our age, like we were talking about somebody else earlier, that there are certain things in the age group we're at now. We don't want to be doing that now. We'd much rather have done that when we were in our 20s. And it's just let it be. Like there are certain adult aspects to life. You don't have to grow up. Like that's like the quote unquote like don't grow up.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't
You have to-
want to.
You have to let things go.
You have to let certain aspects of your personality die in your 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be carrying that shit into your 40s or even when you're older. Like who was that? God, I was just listening to somebody talk about turning 50. They're like all these things I thought I was going to do by the time I'm 50, like travel, eat certain weird foods, maybe have a couple of weird relationships, whatever it was. I want to have them done by the time I'm 50. And then they realize they're already in their 40s, like 50's knocking, man.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's coming pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in just like do what you want to do in the moment. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, don't
Exactly
waste time
right.
because it could be all over before you even know it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's that's just it. We know some people just recently, this last year or so, where
Mm-hmm.
they had all these plans and they are not around anymore because it was like either they just dropped by accident or they got hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Or depression, who knows what it was, but people just aren't around anymore, and you never know when it's gonna hit, right?
Yeah, because then they think that life has to be this certain way, especially with Indian people, like with that formula that I think we've talked about this. The formula they follow when they they graduate from high school, they go to university, graduate,
Yeah.
meet someone in university, hopefully get married, then have kids, and white picket fence, all that bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when people subscribe to that, they're like, okay, I know I have to do that, right? They live
The
their
5-year plan.
yeah that 5-year plan, and then when it doesn't happen, because
It breaks their brain, man.
yeah, like they get into like they just want to crush ass or whatever it is or whatever, and then when it doesn't happen, they feel like they have to, that they're settling, but they don't even know it.
They have no idea.
Yeah, it's a sad just decline and just like,
Well, it's sad, but it goes kind of back to that social media thing. They're showing you something different. Their personal life is awful.
Yeah.
But they're showing you all this great shit that's happening to them, and it's all artificial because like you go onto your Instagram or on your Facebook and you see them with these Photoshop photos of how awesome it's going, but meanwhile it's crumbling for them. Like their mental state is failing because they've had this idea what their life was going to be, and it's not that.
yeah, like some people think that for some people, and when they meet people for the first time, it's like that's one of the openers, like, oh, what's your Instagram account?
That's
What-
that's
yeah,
gross.
what's that? I'm like, what?
That is pretty fucking
Yeah,
gross.
it's just
Yeah.
like
Ugh.
get the fuck away from me.
Good gravy.
Like, I'm from a generation where I can actually talk to girls with my mouth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like
Well, we're extremely lucky.
Swipe on Tinder. I'm
Swipe
like, why
on
don't you
Tinder?
just talk to her?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think we're
it's a
really
lost
lucky in
art.
our age.
It's a lost. The
a
art
lost
of
art.
pickup is a lost art. Like
Ugh.
this generation does not know what the fuck they're
No,
doing.
man.
But they're terrified too.
Yeah.
I mean, these days you say the wrong thing to the wrong person and you get canceled in real time.
Yeah.
I mean, remember back in the day, if you knew somebody's was
But
that?
I was just gonna say the interesting part about that is like the fact that people care that they get canceled, right? Like,
Yeah. How gross is that?
yeah.
I mean, that can make or
Yeah.
break you by like a comment on your Instagram page.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean-
I feel bad for it because obviously I have 2 daughters, right? And they're kind of at that age, like my older one for sure. The little one's still pretty good, but it's like, I had 14 and 12, right? And then Lisa has got 2 kids, right? So, they're all in that kind of 16 to 12-year-old range. And it's just like how much like these kids, I think about it all the time. I'm like, they literally do not know what it's like to grow up without like internet on their phone. You know what I mean? At any given moment.
Yeah.
And, like we grew up and we were kind of probably the last of that era. Like we had those TVs that had 3 channels. You had to get up. There was like not even a remote
click.
to like click it to
The
change
TV
it,
had
right?
to smack.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you clicked it too hard maybe and the friggin' thing broke, and you go get the pliers and you turn it.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was normal for us. If the TV went out, it didn't matter.
That's right.
Like we just did something else.
Yeah.
But now it's like if the internet is out, and adults, man, people in our age group, they don't know how to do shit anymore.
Well, it's the old adage, right? That like scarcity is the mother of innovation.
Innovation,
right?
yeah, that's right. Yep.
And like, you know, my kids, like, you know, it's another double-edged sword, but it's like, you know, you work so hard because you want them to have all the things we didn't do. You know, I know you guys really well, and like, you know, we didn't grow up in like affluent, like, community with like a lot of
my
stuff,
friend.
you know, like it was the complete opposite. Like I don't have a high school diploma, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we grew up getting in a lot of trouble and with a lot of shit around us, and I want better for my kids, but my kids sure don't have the same appreciation. They have like, they're so much smarter on so many levels, so they have access to all this information, and their ability to absorb and learn is so fast because of technology, but then they literally couldn't find their way out of a wet paper bag. Like,
oh yeah.
You know,
with the technology.
With the technology.
Yeah, with the assistance of the technology.
They're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
But we only have one phone and there's 2 of us. Like, how are we going to get a hold of you? I'm like,
you're gonna be
like,
fine.
remember, we used to like take the bus, go to the mall, and be like, "Hey, Roger, I'm gonna meet you at West End." I was like, "Okay, what time? Noon? Where?
Whatever.
Okay, we'll meet by the whale and like the whatever, right?"
Yeah.
And it's like, if somebody's not there, you wait 10 minutes and you're like, "I guess they're not coming," and then you go find something else to do.
And then you bump into them later.
Yeah.
Yeah, where were you? Oh, dude, the arcade, fucking high score on Street Fighter. Like, that's what would happen.
Totally, right?
Yeah. You wouldn't panic about it. You just would deal with it. I think that's the thing. Like, the art of dealing with it is lost.
Yeah.
Like, the art of being able to deal.
Yeah.
Because there are people now who it's just, if your phone is dead, your life is over. You're not getting anywhere because you can't use your GPS. Yeah. You're going to be bored. Like, boredom is gone. Like, people aren't bored anymore at all. So, like, their brain doesn't fire at the same rate, right? If you're in the mall waiting for Raju to show up at the whale and your phone dies, well, we're in an age group where the phone goes back in the pocket. Maybe there's a store over there and you go kill some time. And again, you might go do something else and you'll bump into them later as a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
But like kids today, it's like they haven't. There's that. I think I talked to Raju about it. We've never talked about this, but there's that internet age thing. That you are your internet age. Like with us, we grew up into it. So I mean, we didn't have the internet. So when the internet shows up, we're 1 year old and the internet is 1 year old. So we kind of grow up to where now we're what, 19 years, 20 years separated from the internet?
Sure. Yeah.
So we're 20 years old. But with our parents, they didn't just log on right away. The internet was born. It went on for about 5 or 6 years. They would ask you, what is this internet?
Yeah.
So now if they get onto it 5 years after you, well, they're only 15. They're younger. And kids today, again, if they were born, they're 15 years old and they got on the internet when they were maybe 5 or 10, they're only 10 years old. But we take that for granted because like we can navigate the real world because our internet age is greater than theirs. So we have a greater understanding of the internet.
Yeah.
So we get that it's just a tool, man. If that tool doesn't work, I've got a toolbox right here that will do way more with it.
No, you're so right.
Yeah.
It's like the other day, like somebody had sent me like a corrupted file and I accidentally opened it. I actually asked the guy, I'm like, this looks like spam. And he's like, no, I sent you something. And I think
cool,
he
chill.
sent me like 2 emails that day and like he just didn't realize it was sending out like a virus on top of like the email that he meant.
Nice.
Right? Anyways, so like my email was sending out like, it must have got some bug and it was sending out spam. So I was like, fuck, I got to deal with this shit. I can swear, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead,
Very
man.
good. And anyway, so then somehow my sister must have told my mom that like my computer had like a virus, and my mom literally calls me and she's like is everything good? Like your computer's infected? I'm like, yeah, some shit. Like whatever. It's got a bug. And she's like, well, is mine like corrupted too? Like is my computer infected? And I'm like, why the fuck would yours be infected? Like it's not like I
Because we're related.
I didn't sneeze on your computer. Yeah.
Because I came over and touched it. Like it doesn't work that way. Like.
Man, your mom's great. Not to knock on your mom, but she told me one time that her internet gave her a pop-up that was suspicious, so she unplugged the computer.
Yeah, we could literally do an entire podcast on my mom.
no,
But our parents are like that, man. It's not just your mom.
No.
It's our parents in that generation.
I bet you I think my dad's way worse.
Yeah, their
Hands
internet
down, he's
age
way worse.
is
Yeah.
younger than ours, so they just can't cope at the same level as we can.
No,
Yeah.
my dad, like this is years ago, like when Windows 95 kind of first came out, right?
Yeah.
So my dad was like, my computer got a virus, right? So one of my dad's students came over because he knew he is a computer guy. He came over and he said, And then he came over to fix it, and he goes, yeah, your computer has a virus. Then my dad thought it was the computer was sick.
Like actually had a cold.
He said, is there a fungus in there?
No.
And he's like, is it sick? Does it need to does it? Now, the guy's like, he looked at my dad for a second, like, what the fuck what the fuck are you talking about? He had that moment, but my dad's like, oh, okay, so it's not sick, right? And then I was like, no, Dad, it's a machine. It doesn't have feelings. It can't it doesn't get actually sick. It has a virus on it.
Yeah.
It's a computer. It has nothing to do with that, right? My dad's like, oh, he goes, now I'm learning.
But it's good. I mean, the thing is, if he learns, is great. But there are some people who just they're resistant to change, right? They don't want to learn.
Like my dad,
they shut down.
Yeah, when I bought him an iPad, that's his favorite thing because it has one physical button on it.
Yeah,
and he can touch it and do all that stuff, right?
It's very unlikely it's going to get a virus or a bug.
Yeah,
even pop-ups are super rare on like Apple devices.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's good for him.
Yeah, so he wanted to get like a Facebook account. I'm like, Dad, no,
don't.
Fuck, don't do it. He wanted his own email account. I'm like, no one talks to you, so don't even worry about it. So everything's my phone, so don't complicate your life like that. And he's like, oh, I want to have Facebook. I want to be cool. I want to have I can talk to people. I'm like, just phone them.
Yeah, just call them, man.
Yeah, like how you were saying that. Just the art of the phone call.
The phone call is great.
It's funny, right? Because the only on my birthday, the only I hear from 4 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's no prompt or reminder on any social media because I'm not on anything for people to be like, oh, happy birthday, Neil. No. So I don't get 200 people doing it or anything. It's Tony knows my birthday. My parents know my birthday. Mm-hmm. Sometimes my sisters.
I forget on a regular basis.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know your birthday.
That's just it. I mean? Somebody has to tell you. Yeah, but that's good because then you're out of the loop of having to fucking thank people. Yeah. I'm sick of that.
Yeah,
I'm sick of the thank yous.
This formality, this bullshit formality where I had this conversation with my parents too and people in my life, right? It's I think if you can't respect somebody while you're alive, don't go to their funeral. Yeah, I have an issue with that, right? If you don't treat somebody good day to day, and you're gonna shit talk them or whatever to be they're not a good person, and then they pass away, and then everybody's in absos, right? Mourning this shit.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
We see that on a regular basis. Yeah. We see people who don't have the time to reach out to somebody when they're alive, or they talk shit about them, and then when somebody dies, suddenly they're their best friend.
Yeah,
they're crying louder on the casket.
Yeah, I've seen that at funerals. That's where they
Indian funerals.
You can see it there, and you're people are crying, and you're and you don't want to say it, but inside your head, you're that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
That's totally fake.
I remember a guy our age that passed away, and his girlfriend was friends with my ex at the time. Mm-hmm. We used to be at our house complaining about how she's can't stand him, she's gonna break up with him, all this bullshit. Yeah. And then he dies, and then she's all the fucking oh, I was gonna marry him, and starts crying, and I'm just you're
the
such
love
a
of my
trife
life.
bitch.
Yeah,
exactly. Honestly, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know.
I hate that shit.
I know, yeah. Just the fact, that is the textbook definition of insincerity.
And I've cut all that kind of stuff out of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We I live a pretty simple, clean life, and it's good. It's
it is the way to go. I mean, aside from what we do here, this is the extent I think of our being in touch with the real world. But it is so good to just cut away. I know Luke, he cut off all the bullshit on his social media. He was into a lot of not the crap friends where he replied or commented, but he always went back and checked in what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And then eventually he just started unfollowing everybody. And it's his news feed is 4 things. It's car guides and friggin' flat earth, not the flat earth, but the round earth. He's not really a flat earther, but he likes to shit on those guys. Yeah. But he just cut out all the garbage and just stuck to the things that make him happy that don't have a connection to his friend base.
Yeah.
So he's not getting his friends tagging something that he's going to see because he unfollowed him, but he just sees things that he wants to see, the news articles he wants.
And I don't want to hate on social media, right? Because in some ways I feel I should, but the other side of it, right? The things that I love, right? I love sports, and I feel I would have, if I would have had that when I was in my younger years as an athlete, I would have probably been better at some of the sports I played. And
but you mean the news?
Access to, no, even things how many freaking jiu-jitsu videos can I watch on YouTube now?
Yeah. That's pretty
you know
great.
what I mean? Mm-hmm. I can literally watch how Andre Galvao does a double underpass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Rewind 15 years ago, I how would I have known that?
Yeah,
right? And so there's this brilliant. Sorry, not to
interrupt. No.
There's this brilliance to it, and I feel in a lot of ways it helps me be a better person. But I honestly personally really struggle with those boundaries, right? And I've probably created some really harsh ones for myself to say, if I'm going to be on one end of the spectrum, I'm going to be on this end of it. But I also recognize that my approach is probably not the healthiest approach, because I'm missing some things that could make me maybe a better person, right? Like,
I don't know. I think you can navigate it without the social media aspect of it. Like, I think there's definitely a place for like a news feed or like a YouTube feed. That's good.
And I guess
I agree with that, because I think what you're saying, because there is something for everybody there, because you can take and leave whatever you want.
Yep.
So because I honestly believe that social media, Facebook, whatever it is it's just like.
Well, it's gross. We've said it 1,000 times. It's gross.
Well, the thing is, like, it's a buffet. You can take what you want, leave what you want. You don't have to you can use it for whatever you need.
You don't need to eat the veggies if you don't want them.
So it's because like what Neil was talking about, like how he said, I wish I had this 15 years ago, because you can see like videos on on MMA and stuff like that.
Fucking anything you want.
I wouldn't even been into MMA if it wasn't for YouTube.
Well, there you go.
Because I started watching more clips. I found about the fighters and stuff like that. I got more into them, and that's like now I'm like. Now we can discuss it on podcast, because before...
you're into it now.
You and Raji would talk about, like, you guys would talk about it. I'd sit in the corner. I'm like, okay, when is the conversation going to be over?
I want to talk about Best Buy.
Yeah, so, but exactly. So, like, to Neil's point, I agree with him, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be I would be as interested, or I wouldn't be open to, like, it's like so many other things. I'm like, wow, I never even realized that. This is...
I still kind of feel like there's a way to, and this is a personal thing for me anyway. Like, I'm on my extent of Facebook is to open that thing to see if there's red dots, and then just push the dots so I don't have like 1,000 red dots, and then I go away.
I don't even know what the red dots are.
That's awesome, right? I mean, that's the notifications. I'll open it up to see if there's notifications.
Fantastic.
I'll tap them all, and then I'll swipe down and leave
literally
again.
not on it. Like, I don't like when people say, "Oh, I'm not on Facebook too," and I'm like, "Oh, like that's cool." And they're like, "Yeah, like I never log on. Like I'm only on there like once a month or something." And I'm like, "No. Like I don't even have a fucking profile.
I don't even know how to sign in.
Yeah, like
no, and that's great, right? But I mean, even then, like that's what you do. You either it's there so your parents can interact with you or whatever it is. Because like my mom uses it a lot, so that's how I'm going to talk to her if I'm not in Canada, right? There's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, that's like it's easy for her, so it's easy for me. But for me, it's like I'm missing birthdays. Again, like this whole thing with the birthday, happy birthday, Nick Perger. I'm not going to fucking say it again, but happy birthday. But the reason that happens is because somebody has to tell me, like, did you remember? I'm like, no, I didn't remember, because I go in there, I just clear my shit, and I walk away again. So there's that. And then if I need my news feed, well, I just go to my news feed, my actual Google news feed.
Yeah.
And I read that.
That's what I use. Yeah.
And if I want to watch videos, I go to YouTube, and YouTube knows what I like, because I scroll through and watch enough shit. Like, it's pretty much like the Joe, it's the flow grappling, and it's a bunch of shit that I want to watch.
Yeah, the algorithm will take care of it.
The algorithm will take care of that for you, right?
Yeah.
And I walk away.
Yeah.
But like as far as interacting with people on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, fuck no. I'm not going to be bothered to double tap your shit on whatever.
The people you want to hang out with, like, you call them and say, like,
exactly.
Like, that's the thing. We talked about this. I rarely text people.
Yep.
I think
you call a lot.
I call.
And I appreciate that too.
I'd rather hear someone's voice.
Yeah.
And then the people I do interact with are on the messenger. I talk to like the group chats. I've got you guys, I've got the other guys, and that's it. Again, everything else gets shut down.
Yeah.
Where are we eating tonight? That's it.
Yeah. I just send Skeletor GIFs.
Yeah, you just send a lot of Skeletor GIFs. Is it GIFs?
GIFs. I guess GIFs, yeah. Because that's the answer to every question.
Graphic image file? Yeah, it is a lot of Skeletor walking through a mirror and then like punching the mirror.
And walking out.
And leaving frame. He goes into a mirror and then he shatters the mirror so you can't follow him. Shit, man, we had a pretty good one here. We had a solid hour and a bit.
I'm just glad Neil came.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Hopefully you'll be in a lot more.
Yeah.
Thursdays, man. We're always here on Thursday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you want to just, if the invite doesn't go out there, 6:30, knock on that door. We're here doing
always
this.
be here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm so happy you came, man.
Yeah, it's great.
I didn't expect
We'll
you to
see
be.
how bad this drives down your ratings on all your social media. And
No, it ain't going nowhere. We're only moving up.
Oh, man.
For sure, man.
We are
You
taking
guys
over.
have my support. So you got
No, thank you.
one more person. I would totally follow you if I was on anything to follow, but I will definitely download
Apple
all the
Podcasts.
on
Yeah,
Apple.
man.
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
SoundCloud.
Neil just brings another angle to it, which I love.
You know, it's good because they're like we've been saying a lot more. This year is our push to get a lot more people on.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen later on. We have a call-in happening that will add to the end of this show, and then it'll get its own little piece as well. But don't make that face. But
What?
No, man. You looked away from the camera and made the face because you just want to be a bit of a dick.
Gotcha.
Which is fine. He knows.
I know.
He knows you're a dick.
Yeah.
But we have AG2 is going to call in and tell us what's
Nice.
been going on the West Coast there. Just like the last episode we did called Casting Couch. You can see part 1 there. Part 2 is going to be later on here, and it's going to get its own dedicated segment as well.
Actually, AG2, when he called in last time, it was actually his voice came through on over on the podcast actually came through pretty clean.
I do a lot of good work these
That was
days.
so well done.
So it's no longer a cartoony shit show over here. I'm doing things behind the scenes to make us sound really good.
Yeah, because it picked up because we just had my phone connected to a just right next to a microphone.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So well done.
So so it all works out pretty well. We have our list that we always hit. I was going to talk about some stuff if we got away from everything else, but we had a good flow going on.
Anything else you want to talk about, or?
Dark Side of the Ring season 2 is going to show up, and Chris Benoit is going to get profiled. So we're going to see how he murdered his wife and kids and hung himself. Which is that's a great show, man. If you're not watching Dark Side of the Ring and you're into wrestling, which is something we talk about a lot here because I still watch a lot of wrestling, I enjoy it. But like the breaking kayfabe aspect of this, where they lift the curtain up and show you all the stuff happening behind the scenes, and just like there's a lot of dirty crap that happened, and it comes from that book I was reading, that Blood Red and Money Green is Dollar Green.
Yeah,
just the idea of all the things that we don't see or didn't see as kids. And now we know about it, so we can learn more about what happened behind the scenes. It's really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be interesting to see where they go with this, because I know they'll probably do Jake the Snake story and the Chris Benoit stuff, and it's dark stuff out there, so it's a lot of fun.
It might ruin a lot from my childhood though, because I thought that shit was real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. We all did.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. That's we talked about the Bruiser Brody story.
Yeah.
In Puerto Rico, the cops did not know that it was bullshit, and they thought that when Bruiser Brody got stabbed by Invader, that he must be insane. He went in the crowd and punched 6 people.
Yeah.
He swings a chain around. He comes in the ring. He's crazy. Of course he stabbed him.
Yeah.
So that's like adults did, right? I know some adults now who think wrestling is real.
Yeah.
Straight up, they're like, no, he really caught him with the left hook.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Actually, you know what?
Or
Sorry,
like
no, go
when
ahead,
I was gonna say, like when Papa Shango came out and put the curse on Ultimate
yeah.
Warrior and he's
Yeah.
like puking green shit. I was like, is that real voodoo?
Yeah.
That's real voodoo. This guy knows real fucking
It's
voodoo.
crazy, man.
Who's gonna beat him?
Yeah.
Like,
We
he's
had
gonna
a-
put voodoo curse on people.
We had a cousin who couldn't watch Papa Shango on screen at like 11 years old because he just, again, he thought it was real. He was terrified of that.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that this is how susceptible I was to it. I thought Kamala was Papa Shango's pet.
Oh, dude. Dude, that's rough.
I know.
That's pretty rough, man.
So
I'm like,
funny.
I was like,
2 Ultimate Warriors.
yeah, he got,
Yeah.
exactly. I thought he got away. No, he just performed. He just became his own person. Now that's how much I bled at WWE.
But that's how that stuff builds, like the 2 Ultimate Warriors thing. Like people thought Papa Shango's pet was Kamala.
Yeah.
People thought there were 2 of these guys because a rumor would just get thrown out there, and next thing you know, it's like the real thing.
Oh yeah.
Like remember the first time you saw Tiny Lister, like not on wrestling? Like Zeus is just like a big dumb actor.
Yeah.
He played the president on what was that? Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. Yeah.
That's great. Love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He's but yeah, I just Papa Shango, man, fuck.
That's creepy.
The guy scared the shit out of me.
He's a multiple character wrestler. That guy.
Yeah.
The Godfather.
Actually, you know
the
what?
Ho Train.
Actually, you know what? Neil, who do you think? Who gave the best promos for overall? Do you think
Like ever?
ever? Give me 3 that were your favorite.
Like, I mean, it's so hard to say because there's so many good ones, right?
Oh,
I think it depends
yeah.
on your angle. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think The Rock gave great promos.
Yeah.
Like, because he's good on the mic, but he was never one of my favorites.
Oh no,
you know
He
what I
was
mean?
never my
Like-
favorite wrestler
he
by
was never my
any
favorite
means.
wrestler. Yeah.
Like I can't remember a lot of his in-ring work.
Yeah, like so, like by promo, like if you like, he seemed to get a lot of reaction on the mic.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't what I would have favored. So
Yeah,
you
that's
know what I
fine.
mean.
Yeah.
So my personal preferences, like, I'm just trying to think. It's been so long, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I love that DX era. So like, I gotta give some love to Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
They were pretty good,
Like,
man.
those guys are
They were a
awesome.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, you
Because they
know?
did weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they did straight up frat boy goofball humor
Yeah.
that just hit you in there
Yeah. Like, you know.
the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think.
and they got the worst blowback because like when they would just go crazy and then Stone Cold Steve Austin would show up and blow up their van.
Yeah, and Austin was pretty funny too,
Yeah.
right? Like
Oh,
when
yeah.
he beat up McMahon, like
Yeah.
in the hospital with his bedpan.
bed-
and
that's
shit.
the
like
that's
like
the that's the
and
funniest
he's like
part. I love
shocking him with like the like the paddles,
The
like,
defibs?
the
Yeah,
defibrillators. Yeah,
and sticks a catheter up his ass.
like it's like that shit is like awesome
Yeah,
too, right?
I
But
agree.
people don't give McMahon enough credit either, right? I mean, that he allowed a character to give him an enema
Yeah.
like on screen
Oh,
and hit him in the head with a bedpan.
Yeah, because Triple H
That's
and
great.
Stephanie won't do that. They won't go to that extent that he did. They're like he bled for his company.
That he really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't quite like heel out the same way McMahon did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when Stone Cold fought Mike Tyson in the ring when they got to that,
The shoving match?
and then McMahon's like, "You ruined it. You ruined it for all."
You ruined it for
And
everybody.
Stone Cold just gave him the 2 fingers.
Well, what's yours? You got 3, like what were your 3 top promo? on the
Three?
mic. 3 top wrestlers giving promos.
Yeah,
Or who could give promos.
Okay, so yeah, I agree with Neil about The Rock, and but my favorites were probably Ric Flair.
Number 1 for sure.
I was gonna say the other one that I would throw in there though is like because I absolutely love was Macho Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
I'd say you know what? Yeah, that is probably my
He
number
might
one.
be my number one.
Yeah.
He's probably. I mean, I like what he had. I think Ric Flair gave the best kind of like range because he could just didn't matter who he was talking to, he could go off.
Yeah.
And he could give Hulk Hogan something, give Ultimate Warrior something, give Macho Man something. But Macho Man is definitely in there.
Yeah, Macho Man. I think were just because it made no sense.
Oh, you're putting him in because he made no sense
Yeah,
at all.
I was just because you
Hulk
watch it, you're like, oh,
Hogan.
wow, no one else is like this. And then
bullet, Terry.
yeah, so I would say those three.
Yeah.
The most menacing was probably Jake the Snake.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
his music was rad.
Yeah.
But like, what about like NWA, like
Oh,
Scott
yeah.
Hall, and
Scott Hall,
Nash?
those
Oh, the
guys.
NWO.
Yeah,
yeah,
NWO,
they were
sorry,
really good too.
NWO, like,
But they had a good
Yeah,
overall
that's
angle.
true, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they had a good gimmick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a really good
because
one.
Razor Ramon gave some pretty sweet
Oh,
promos
yeah.
too. As a
Chico.
Yeah, there was that.
He was pretty rad.
Yeah, there was that.
Yeah, that was always good too.
There was that 3-on-3 match where it was like him, another wrestler, and it was Kamala. So Kamala gave his nonsensical promo. Like he's like. Like
Well,
that,
he used to
right?
like bark and woof and shit.
Yeah,
right?
you're
exactly.
giving Kamala a lot of airtime, hey?
Oh yeah,
You're really into Kamala.
yeah. And
Was
then,
it the moon, the crescent moon?
Yeah, and,
That's
and,
right.
That's what it was.
and just that animalistic, like he no shoes, no.
Well, he was
anything.
Black Georgie Animal Steel.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And you know, like I love the promo pieces, and I want to hear what you guys have to finish on that. But also, like the angles were great, like all the Cold War
They're
shit,
awesome.
like
Oh,
all the
yeah.
stuff that like back in like the day
Volkov
where they
and-
like yeah.
Yeah, and then
That was
yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah,
80s wrestling was phenomenal.
oh,
So
hands
good.
down, it was unreal. And like Sheik was great. Yeah, I'd say like
The
Macho-
camel clutch.
Yeah, like Macho Man, you just knew that he took something before the promo.
Look into my eyes.
Yeah, look at my
He was so good.
the cream of the
So
crop.
good.
And
One of my
like,
favorite parts of this Dark Side of the Ring is when I think it's Lanny Poffo. Because people don't know Leaping Lanny Poffo is his brother, right?
Yep.
And he's talking about the first time he met Elizabeth, and she's like, your eyes are really red. And then Macho Man's response is, you should see it from my side. You're all fucking red all the time.
Yeah.
He's so coked up and fired up all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What a great
yeah,
character.
I'd say Macho Man, Flair, and Ultimate Warrior. Those are my favorite. Those are my top three. Like,
I got
could
Flair
just
for
watch.
sure. I totally agree with that. Macho Man's probably number 2. But just for fun factor, promos, Mr. Perfect. He would throw a
Perfect
ball and
promos
catch
were
it.
the best.
Yeah.
I mean, he would throw a
you're
football,
so right.
run over and grab it, and call it was
Or play
perfect.
table tennis with himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like-
It was incredible because they were so out there. Like, there's no way he's
Yeah,
doing
man.
it all.
Yeah.
But man, he was so good.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because his promos were like episodes.
They were episodes.
They were, yeah.
They were like one-off.
They're little vignettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were great. And like, I think a lot of people said that he could back up a lot of the things that he could do. Like he was a trick. He could shoot pool really well.
I think that's where it came from. Is he
Yeah.
had a lot of like natural talent, and
Yeah.
he just turned that into a character, right?
Yeah.
His son, not so much. His son's having a hard time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even know his son was wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not having a great time.
No.
He's just a jobber. He's a glorified jobber.
Yeah.
Which is why they're still doing that shit.
Yeah, he'd always like say like he would jump in the pool, like do like whatever
Yeah.
flips, whatever. Then he gets out of the pool, he's like Hulk Hogan. You can't do that. Then he spit his gum out and slap it. Like,
Yeah.
once in
Which is
midair.
great, right? The gum slap was such
Yeah.
a gimmick. It's such a great gimmick.
Yeah, and his finishing with the perfect plex.
Oh, it's a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good move.
Yeah, I kind of compared him to like Bret Hart, like just technical wrestling.
He was like the blonde Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like he's an American Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he has same kind of like family lineage too, right? There was the Axe. His
Yeah.
father was the Axe, Larry the Axe Hennig.
Yeah.
And then it was him. And then his kid's got a thing now too. So yeah, they kind of have the same kind of a deal. There's a few like that. Like Macho Man was his father's name. He's another Poffo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
can't
was.
remember his name, though, yeah.
He was like a wrestling family from the South. I think they were like Florida or something. And they got like the Texas Tornadoes family, the Von Erichs. Great episode too.
Texas Tornado. Oh god.
Yeah, the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
Huge wrestling family,
Yeah.
super tragic. You got the Hearts up here. A lot of really good stories in wrestling, really good territory stories like that. Which is why I like. It's the Wild West. Like it felt so mafia controlled. Like everybody had something
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was nothing good.
Well, and that's kind of what happened, right?
Yeah.
Didn't
Yep.
the WWF back in the day unify a lot of those regions?
Kinda. So like
I don't really know.
McMahon had
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
McMahon's father had the WWF.
Right.
And then McMahon at that point when he's going to do WrestleMania and take it over, he kind of takes over and becomes a WWF, but he enveloped like a lot of the northeastern territories.
Right.
So not so
And then
much the
didn't they-
NWA.
I thought like way back in the day, I thought wrestling was super regionalized.
Super
and then
regionalized.
They were kind of the ones that went into these competing regions.
Yeah,
it
by
was
default,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like
Yeah, they kind of accidentally did it. Like they still existed; those regions were still
Sure,
there.
yeah.
But like when you got a big game coming in like that,
They
and
kinda
doing
cre-
television,
They kind of created kind of a monopoly for lack of a
Yeah.
they
better
changed the
term,
style too.
Yeah.
Like they really, the entertainment factor came in. The TV trucks were coming to town. They were having these like local shows that were being televised. Superstars was televised from all over the place. They forced that change. But you're right. I mean, they came in and really forced it, and people couldn't compete, right?
Yeah, actually, I think the one wrestler I feel sorry for, even more so than Jake the Snake or Razor Ramon, is the Shockmaster.
Man, we're gonna leave the Shockmaster alone.
Yeah.
We've talked about him way too much.
But,
he's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just when I saw the Bill Bird Patrice O'Neill like just talking over that video, is probably the hardest I've ever laughed in my
It's
life.
rough.
It's rough.
We're gonna leave him alone.
Okay.
We're gonna invite Neil back for another episode.
Yes.
For sure.
Neil Sumaru, name of the company again?
The Garbage Man.
The Garbage Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, eventually you will get a social media profile.
Absolutely. TGM
Absolutely,
Waste.
yeah.
But there's a
I mean,
website,
we
right?
are on social media, so like for sure we have an Instagram. I don't know what it is.
But TGMwaste.com.
I think- Yeah, TGMwaste.com.
TGMwaste.com, okay.
I'm sure there's handles for whatever we're on.
Yeah,
but,
But they can go there and
Jason
find it all.
Bekdash is obviously takes care of all that for me. So
Nice.
Oh, right on.
He'd
Good
probably
stuff.
be a better guy to ask than me. I try to stay in the background and
He has been here, and we're trying to get him back here. So
yeah, cool. I'm having
He's
dinner
here
with him
tonight.
next
Actually,
week,
he's just
so,
arrived
yeah.
here.
did he?
He's actually here for 2 weeks.
Well, let's make a Sunday then. We'll call him in and do a little 3-table with him.
Yeah, he's babysitting Sandy's house, so
Oh, that's excellent. Well, he's not babysitting kids.
a cat.
He'll get the stink of baby on him. Next thing you know, he's at an army of children.
Oh yeah.
Cool. At Backside Attack,
At Vic Sabe.
at Neil Sumaru,
At Neil Sabe.
whatever it is, TGM.com, the
Yeah.
Garbage Man. That's it. You want to say your thing?
Peace out.
Cool.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah.